Welcome to virtual and physical natural balance masterclass. Welcome, Mervin. Welcome, Harry. We're here together, and this is a co-creation masterclass. My name is Neal, and Neal's my name, but Neal's actually not who I am. And when I say that, you might have a question that's something like, well, all right, well, if you're not your name, well, who am I? Well, who I am is infinite. Who I am is a child of God. Uh, who I am is spirit in form expressing through a human body. And I'm here in a conversation coming from a place of presence. And I invite you to uh, be present along with me and uh, and then from our presence together, have that be the foundation of where we're coming from. And so uh, in the beginning portion of this masterclass, this is more of a feminine flow environment where the communication is really open. There's not much structure to it. The structure is the master class, but how the communication happens inside of this master class in this beginning portion, it's free flow. And what that looks like is when you have an inspiration to share, you can raise your physical hand, demonstrating that you have a share. If you're online, you can also, there's a button where you can raise a virtual hand, demonstrating a want to share. Um, Here in the physical, you can raise your physical hand. But in addition, you can also literally just pick up a mic and speak. I don't believe in interruptions. I believe in synchronicity. And I believe that every single moment is a gift, and that every comment and contribution is a gift when we see it as a gift. And it's my responsibility, and it's your responsibility to unwrap that, to unearth the gift that this moment is, and in doing so, contributing. Now, um, earlier today, I've been in this contemplation and inquiry of like as we go through life, as I go through life, as you go through life, there's times when I'm in conversation and um like in the past I've had like judgment come up when I'm in conversation and it sometimes it sounded something like putting like being like, wow, like what a shithead like that I'm speaking to. Uh or like a different way that it sounded like is like, man, this person must have had a really bad day just based on their communication. But that's an assumption. See, I don't know how your day was, and if I have an assumption that you're having a shitty day or a bad day while I'm in conversation with you, this is it's coming from the egoic self, and there's this inherent like uh it's this inherent like judgment, but also it's false to a degree. Like it's not fully true. And so in this master class, I invite you to when you have those judgments, notice them and speak to them. Because it's in the noticing of them And in the speaking of them, that is like a opening up of transcending the judgment. And in addition, like right along with judgment, just in everyday environments, sometimes things come up that are assumptions, and they're also projections. And then thirdly, it can look like when I'm in conversation, uh, already thinking about what I'm going to say while the other person is talking. And all this is ego based, and it's usually from the ideal self. Now, the ideal self is it's this part of us. It's the fake smile we wear and we show to the world when we're actually not feeling that great inside. Um, Today I didn't feel that great inside. Like evens right now as I'm here in this moment, uh, I feel a degree of pressure inside my head. Like I'm not in my head, I'm in my body, and I'm coming from my heart, but there's this energetic pressure that I feel in my head. And I've had shivers today, and a degree of what I would call fever. And the ideal self is when you have that uncomfortability inside, but then you walk into an environment or you walk into a conversation and you wear a smile, but that's not actually how you're feeling inside. Like how you're feeling inside is not well. And um, what I'm distinguishing is the ideal self and it's the ego self. Now, the ego has four components. So how many components? Four. So these four components are, first of all, and this is how the ego communicates. It says, this is my perception. So my perception, that's component number one. Component number two, the ego will say, this is my opinion. So opinion is component number two. Thirdly, the ego will say, well, this is my experience. Experience is component number three. And then number four is the ego will, how it sometimes communicates, it will say, my truth is this. So my truth is component number four. So anytime I notice myself coming from my truth, my opinion, my perception, or my experience, there's a 99% likelihood that where I'm communicating from is from the egoic self, which is the self that is the programmed self. It's the self that has been constructed as a from a child and us going through our life, growing up into adulthood. All these programs that we've received from our friends, from our family, from social media, from our peers, from our coworkers, uh, from TV, which is the television, which is the thing that tells lies to your vision. These things is what the ego constructs itself from, and so that's the ideal self. So that's that. Now, the ideal self operates in like it it is it's in a body, so it's in reality, but it's in a constructed reality. So it'll make up what reality is. It'll be like, hey, my opinion is this, and then if it just stays locked onto the opinion, like that's not actual reality. It's a constructed reality. And the ego, it loves to construct realities. The ego is infinitely creative and very much so insane. It loves significance. It loves to be heard. It loves to be seen. It loves to be recognized, and it has two really strong polarity energies that it operates from. First of all, desire or attachment. So it's like wanting something. And then second of all, aversion or resistance. So resistance and desire. Now, when I say reality, what I'm saying is the 3D physical world. Um, my physical body is reality. It's real, but it's not fully true of who I am. So with reality, when you face reality, that's when you feel. That's when you're feeling shitty inside, but you don't wear the smile. You're like, you feel shitty and you look shitty. Uh, or you feel really joyful and you look joyful. It's a direct correlation, and this is being in reality. So reality is what I can see with my eyes. It's what I can hear. It's what I can taste. It's what I can touch, and it's what I can feel. It's tactile, and but that's still just a part. See, there's this other part. And that other part, that's our true essence. That's the oneness. That's our innocence. And our innocence includes both reality and it also includes the ideal self. Both of these are included inside of the true self. But when we're in the true self and we come from the true self, we are coming from a place of neutrality. We're coming from a place of oneness. We're coming from a place of infinite connection. Now, this infinite connection place, this is also the I am. So when I say I am, this is the innocent true self. The true self, so reality is multidimensional. Um, it has multiple dimensions, and what that can look like is each human is an entire world in that human. Um, I don't have the programming you have, and you don't have the programming I have, or you don't have the programming that she has, or you don't have the programming that he has. So each human is an entire dimension of reality of experience. And with that, all these multi-dimensional realities, when they are all brought together, when they're all one, that is the true self. Um, there was a, excuse me, there was a point in my life where I experienced this multi-dimensional nature, and I was like I had this outer body experience where I was able to see from different people's perspectives. And I, I, this may sound strange, but it's like literally walking in somebody else's shoes and looking from where they're looking from. And when I had that, I was like, oh, wow, like this must be the truth. But that's still just part of it. Uh, what's beyond, when those all come together, what's left? What is left? Well, what's left is the observer. It's the thing that is watching all of this play out. And when the observer comes from something, um, that is how creation happens. So, um, I'm going to pause there and see if anything came up with that.
Well, what comes up for me right now as you're saying that is how much I've kind of had the concept of looking at life as an observer to kind of figure out why I might be reacting to something um, in a interaction with somebody else, or why I might, or what's going on when other people, when I'm in a crowd situation or whatever, what's going on, why are those two people arguing over something that I think is pretty trivial or whatever, and I'm kind of just watching it as an observer more than having it uh, trigger me as well, for the most part.
All right.
That's what's coming up for me right now.
Um, in that mode of observation, did you were you feeling what the other people were experiencing? Did you, like you said, you didn't have a trigger, so were you in a state of neutrality, or what kind of a being were you at?
I think sometimes it's empathetic. Like what I find what for myself is that when I'm like, for example, during the Remember experience we did recently, a lot of times um, I would feel some kind of uh, uh, yeah, like sometimes I would get emotional, like and it happens even in, when I watch a movie or something, if there's some kind of emotional something that is touching or emotional or touches me in a way where I think that, oh, that's the way, I wish I could express that in a situation like that. It's just sort of unconsciously I get I get emotional. Sometimes I get teary in a movie from something that touches me or something that's happening in the movie. Not really totally being aware of why all the time. Um, and for the most part, in real life, I'm not that emotional. I don't express, a lot of emotion, whether it's joy or anger or well, I guess I express sadness. Well, I mean, when I'm, if somebody uh, jumps in front of me in traffic or something, I might swear and get angry for a bit, or if somebody cuts me off. But I've kind of through the years kind of trained myself to after realize I'm doing that, just sort of smile to some, just calm down, say to myself, well, that's the same thing I've done before. So I don't need to get you know, all enraged about it. I can accept it, put it that way. I can accept it because, you know, I know I'm no different. I can't blame it on it. I don't have to judge that person forever because of that temporary situation or whatever, or get super angry. I guess that's what I would say about it.
All right.
You know,
Yeah, that sounds like to me like you're coming from the true self and also having access to your real self. Because when you're in your real self, but you aren't coming from your true self, true self, that's when you would get angry with the driver and then just stay angry for like 5 months. Uh, so, um, balance is also noticing when we're not centered. So when we're off balance. And I can be off balance, but I accept that if I can be angry and be like, wow, like I'm feeling angry right now and like fully be in the anger. but um, be accepting, like not resisting that I'm being angry, um, and just feeling it and really expressing it. That is a positive experience, and it is. See, we can't uh, let go of reality. Like we can't come from the true self uh, if somebody cuts us off and we get a trigger, but we just pretend like we're not triggered. Like rather than feeling the anger, it'd just be like, yeah, like to fake smile. Um, so yeah, that sounds really really grounded and really balanced in how you're sharing it. Welcome.
As I hear you saying that, I'm also think of another thing and that I do. I mean, these maybe, that this isn't as far as emotions go, it's uh or interactions, it's not really so much eyeball to eyeball, person to person as an example. But sometimes what I do, I'll get angry and swear at them, and then I'll say, and I realize it. I realize that I'm charged about it, and then I'll say to myself, I kind of joke with myself, "Wow, glad I got that off my chest." Like sort of realizing, understanding that, um, understanding about not to take it seriously because it's a reaction in the moment, a triggered reaction in the moment, right?
Yeah, I received this. Is there more that you're feeling called to share?
Um, Not at the moment.
All right. So, the thing is, we all have access to the true self 100% of the time. But we're the ones that like have take us away from it. We're the ones that look the other way. Uh, we're the ones that are programmed to think that uh, we're not free, we're not innocent, that something is wrong with us. But the truth is, like, you're innocent as the true self. Like you are whole and complete. And it's an option to come from this whole and completeness that I am. Uh, See, when I say you and I say me, those are word like you and me, uh, physically we exist in reality. Like that's when I'm saying this is how I see it. And but the words you and me, those are constructs that only exist in language, and they're separation constructs. The truth is, we're one. We're connected, and we can always come from that connection. And that's my point. That's really what is here and what's available is this connection that's available to us 100% of the time. Not just yesterday, not just 100 years ago, not a week from now. No, right now, um, we're one, and we're whole and complete, and we can come from that. And this is natural balance. This is this movement. This is the movement of like tapping into that whole and completeness, and then opening up our heart and sharing. Um, all right. We are at a portion of this masterclass where we're going to transition from this flow environment way of engaging, and we're going to go into a structure now. So the structure is a structure of giving and receiving offers. Now, what an offer is it's something that comes through language. And if you are to make an offer, something becomes available in the moment that you speak that wasn't available. It's an entirely new possibility that comes online and is possibly transformational just in somebody hearing the speaking of the offer. And and so an offer includes a location. So, all right, where is this going to be at? It includes a product or a service. So, it's either going to be a thing or it's going to be like a physical thing, like a product, or a service, like a phone call, like a conversation. And then an offer also includes a minimum donation amount. So this is a way for somebody to contribute to you. And then as they give their resources, as they give their finances, um, in that moment, they're also being contributed to you from you by receiving your offer. And then lastly, an offer includes an email or a phone number, some way for somebody like if you're to receive my offer, here's my email address, and this is how you receive it, and this is how you make your donation. So that's an offer. And we're going to have 2 minutes to make an offer each. And so with that, do you have an offer that you're feeling that you have that you can share and present here, but also this is recorded, so also for the larger community.
I don't believe I do, actually. It wasn't something that I was uh, expecting to ask, and I'm totally self-absorbed with uh, uh, getting back home and after I leave here and getting rid of the rest of my stuff and preparing my home to be sold so I can be free of uh, anything anything that's a burden to me from being free and just starting a new life. So um, I'm not really in a headspace or have any desire to offer anybody else my time right now,
All
to
right.
be honest. Yeah, I didn't know this was kind of a part of a mess to message completion thing or something.
Yes. Yeah, it's in giving that we receive. So uh, I do you have inspiration to construct an offer? Because I heard something in your sharing that I believe is a possibility, but I'm also surrendered to your decision.
Well, I do plan to offer some things to the village, um, but not on a commercial basis, not on a dollar donation basis or
Okay.
donation basis. I plan to find out if some of the stuff that I think is might be valuable here or appropriate that I can donate to the village when I come back.
All right. Yeah, this is what I heard. I was thinking there's a potential for you to offer some of your things, your household items, your whatever you have that you're releasing, to have that be your offer.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I've definitely been planning that. I
Um,
have some things on the list, but
do you want to construct it and make an offer right now for it doesn't need to be super specific. It can be like
mm,
I'm already like I can see it. We can go there, but we don't need to. What do you want?
well, I thought I would present this uh, to Jonathan about the fact that I have a box full of high-tech shower heads that I think would be valuable to contribute to the people who are going to be building, well, and even here, possibly first, um, uh, because they help to conserve water. They accelerate the water that's coming through the pipes because they have a vortex system inside the shower head that also leads to oxygenating the water. So it's very good for skin and hair and stuff like that. So that's one thing I was planning to uh, once we start back in the circle. Well, I mean, once we're back over the remember experience to uh, talk to Jonathan about, and I have some brochures to show him, and I brought some demos along to leave for Cole and or whoever, Freddie or whatever, to try out. Maybe they could try them out in the new in the casita over there.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
So for context for people listening, are you and for my personal clarity, are you um you're returning to the United States, yes?
Canada.
Yeah, you're returning to Canada, releasing a lot of your belongings, and then you're moving to Costa Rica to Grace One.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, that's the decision I made on during the Remember experience. But don't tell anybody because
It's too late
it's too
now.
late now. I know,
Yeah.
but I wanted to. Yeah, well, I guess it's okay. I was just going to make that as my check-in and return statement when we have our first circle.
Nice. Wow.
No.
Congratulations for making a decision. Um, all right, so I'm feeling no on the offer. Is that accurate?
Um, well, yeah, I don't want to receive something in return for it. Like,
All right.
even if it's $1, I wasn't, once I get here, I intend to go full in on the VLP program and find out what I can contribute to the community, but uh, not particularly, and I don't think it's going to be in the form of not for a while until my head gets straightened out, my health gets better, that I could contribute in a way of offering some kind of master class.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, received.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna make an offer. So um this offer, the title of it, it's called Nature Immersion Event. Now, the are you somebody that's like you've been disconnected from nature and from people, or even disconnected spiritually? Um, if that's you, this offer's for you. So the Nature Immersion Event, this is an offer that I'm presenting for a minimum donation of $555, and it's a 7-day event. So it's a 7-day full-on nature immersion event here live in person in rural Costa Rica. And the nature immersion event, this is going to be occurring right towards the end of dry season here, going into wet season around May or June, right at the end of the month of May and the start of June. The dates aren't totally locked in yet. I'm flexible on the specific dates. Um, but I'll have my email in the description, and I'll have a donation link in the description. So if you would like to have this experience of being surrounded by lush jungle and homegrown fruits and vegetables, and people, and really what I can promise is a degree of connection. that you may never have even felt before. So that's my offer that I'm presenting. All the information is in the description of this video. With that, thank you for being here, Harry. Is there any last words you would like to share before we complete this?
No, other than saying, well, I appreciate you making me an offer. It sounds like a great experience, and I'll consider if it's the right time for me to be doing it.
All right. Thanks again for being here. And this concludes Natural Balance Masterclass.
Thank you.
Welcome.